welcome back, Pronghorn Nation. Chase Horsley here alongside with Coach Shawn Neary, men's head basketball coach. And, Coach, 17-1 just has a real nice ring to it.
Yeah, Chase, we're off to a good start. Come back from Christmas with the home game against Western Nebraska, so, kind of worked our way back into playing a little bit. So, yeah, good start for us for sure.
Yeah, really good start. You guys had that game against Western Nebraska earlier Saturday. It was at 4 o'clock, which, the schedule said 11, but it was at 4 o'clock, which we all kind of went off that. But it was a good game. The fact Dane Christensen had 11 points throughout that game, and it just wasn't also like a big scoring day here for the Pronghorns. It was more of a team effort of scoring. Pretty much, I believe, everyone who got on the court actually got a bucket as well, too.
Yeah, I thought we came out a little bit rusty the first half, which is not a surprise. We hadn't played in 12, 14, probably more than that, probably a couple weeks for sure. So we were a little rusty the first half. Western Nebraska had already played 2 games after the Christmas break, so they were, and they were a little banged up. To give them credit, I thought they played hard and they battled. They were certainly missing a couple of their key guys. One to eligibility, one to sickness. But, Coach Roy Bell does a good job, and they came and competed. Second half, obviously, we kind of got away from them and started getting our stops a little bit and kind of got out in transition and put up some points. But, good game for us to come back and just play, just get back in that rhythm of playing and playing somebody who I think is going to win a lot of games in the South this year. I think they're going to be very competitive in the South sub-region, and especially when they get healthy and get their guys back. So, it was a good start for the, the 25 portion of it, and, on to the next one.
You talked about some players being out. Elijah Hollins, who is their main scorer, was out for that game, which that was huge. I knew that was going to end up taking a big, massive hit, and definitely did right there at the end as well, too. But, Caleb Hollenbeck finished off with 23 points, and it was some really big three-pointers right there. And the one thing that I love about this team is they're not just, jacking up shots. They're actually taking those, looks that they should be.
Yeah, we're fortunate. We got a bunch of guys that have a good basketball IQ, and as we've mentioned before, these guys like to share the ball, and sometimes you got to pass up a good shot to get a great shot, and these guys are playing unselfish basketball, and I think as long as we continue to do that, we can be competitive.
Still putting up about 100 points a game. Still top in the nation for that throughout all Division I. I think you guys are solidified right now, still at third for that, but it's awesome. 112-83 against Western Nebraska. But now you guys have another fun matchup against Eastern Wyoming, and they're a 4-13 squad. It's the first conference game of the season. How do you not, make sure that you're not overlooking, 4-13 team, especially because these are teams that are on your schedule that are question marks because those are your type of upset category type teams.
I don't think we're playing as good as we can play defensively. I don't think we're playing as good as we can play rebounding wise. We still have room for improvement. So no matter who we play, no matter what their record is, we still have to get better.
Absolutely.
And we feel that, it's about us. I do think Eastern, again, I think their record is a little deceiving. They did play some really good top D1 type JUCO teams in their schedule. They haven't shied away from playing people, so they're going to be ready. But again, for us, I feel like we're not as good as we can be.
Yeah. And, you mentioned one of those teams. They played Air Force Prep this previous week, and they lost 67-62. So they're in those games. They're just not able to finish them so far.
Yeah, and so we'll see tonight. Obviously, I hope our guys come out and defend well. And again, offensively, if we can just attack and share it, I think most nights we're going to be okay. So, but as far as Eastern goes, first conference game of the year, and to play it at home, and let's just get our guys going, and hopefully we can have a good night and come out on top.
What's the key? Because you guys get to the line quite a bit. I mean, you guys went 22 of 25 from free throw this past week. But how do you guys get to the line so much? Is it just the aggressive play call, or what is it?
I don't think there is a key, and I think that's what makes us hard to guard. I mean, I think we're very versatile offensively. We can be good in transition, which we have been. We can be good in the half court. Some teams have tried to take the air out of the ball. We saw that down in Phoenix. You know, those were 3 lower scoring games.
Yeah.
Teams trying to control tempo a little bit more and running the shot clock deep. You know, and so, you know, to me, I think we're pretty versatile offensively. Tonight will be interesting. We'll see what they try to do defensively. But hopefully we're prepared, and our guys are ready to see whatever we see. But for us, again, I mean, it just everything starts defensively for us. We've got to do a good job on the ball, and we got to continue to rebound the ball better. So we're hoping to improve in those areas tonight.
You know, the last time we talked about Javon Nesbitt, and basically him being that guy that is just that next man up. You talked about him being like he should be a starter, but, you know, we kind of need him to be that sixth man. Talk about his play style this past weekend, because all of a sudden, you know, in the first half, he got in, wasn't able to really put anything up. Then all of a sudden, he scored 13 straight points. I mean, what do you say about him?
Yeah, Javon's a special talent. He's really skilled. He's patient. High IQ. Knows how to play. Knows how to pick his spots. Can't speed him up. You can try to speed him up, but he's got that pace that he plays at, that he's just under control.
Right.
Tough, hard-nosed kid, you know, and he's hard to guard. And I think teams, you know, I don't know, like we talked before, you know, we got 7 guys in double figures. We've got Sayed is back now after his injury. So he gives us another quality player coming off the bench. But the thing I like about Javon, too, is I think our team does a good job of finding him in the spots where he can score, too, you know. And he's been fun to coach this year. I'll tell you a story that is probably not worth repeating, but I coached his dad at Miles Community College.
Oh, wow.
And I tell his dad all the time that Javon's a better player than he was, and certainly a better defender than he ever was. And of course, his dad doesn't like that, but he does. But, no, Javon's a special player for us, and I'm glad he's having a great year. He deserves it. He's worked hard, and he's a real quality person and a real high-character guy.
Yeah, no, he is definitely one of those guys out on the court that me and Thomas Bush always, every single time we get him on, we're just like, all right, here we go, Javon's time. But he's definitely one of those players that has just been a leader that we can see on the court, and really we can see by his dynamics and the way he proceeds as himself as a leader off the court as well too. Would you kind of agree with that?
Oh yeah, we in college basketball, we all of us coaches talk about being older. You know, everybody wants to be older in college basketball. You see it at the Division I level, Division II level, you see it at our level, and the reason is because you get guys like that are mature. They're more experienced. And I think when you have good character and you have experience and you have maturity, you can be a lot of things.
Yeah.
And Javon certainly fits all of that for us.
You know, you talked a little bit of injuries that happened before the break. People came back. Are we all injury cleared now, or do we have still some lingering? Yeah,
I think we're kind of getting healthy again. You know, Sayed missed, I think, 5 games with that knee injury. He came back from Christmas break ready to go, and I thought his effort was good the other night. So he's back. Javon, of course, has been kind of nursing an ankle and an Achilles, but he certainly is back. Jeff's ankle seems to be better. Didn't play in the last game in Arizona, but played a lot against Western Nebraska, so he was good. Drew, again, seems to be good with the ankle. So we just knock on wood, and
knock on wood,
you know,
and keep going.
the longer we stay healthy, the better.
Yeah, and then Cass Henry, has he decided if he's going to redshirt or not yet? Or
yeah, you know, Cass is healing from that high ankle sprain.
Yep.
I think he's missed 12 games now. We're kind of to that point where it's whether we medical redshirt him or whether he plays. You know, we're kind of in between that space right now, trying to figure that out. He will not play tonight. But we'll see going forward.
So with the medical red shirt for him, will he end up having, you know, another year here to keep playing, or is that like, because I know red shirts sometimes are a little bit different from the NCAA because there's 4 years red shirts and now you have 5. So how does that, is it kind of still the same way, or is how does that one work?
By the time this airs, the NCAA might have 10 years of eligibility. Who knows what they're going to do, right? Every day is something different.
Yeah, everything's different.
The medical red shirt, you know, at the junior college level, you're only allowed to play up to a certain percentage of your games, which he's under that percentage.
Mm-hmm.
And then it would just be a matter of whether or not the doctors that he's been seeing feel that he could play, or
mm-hmm.
whether he would be at risk for further injury. And in that case, we certainly don't want him to play.
Right, absolutely.
So, yeah, it's just going to be a matter of kind of sorting through all of that.
Mm-hmm.
I know Cass wants to play, but I also know that if he would help us, but I also know that if he comes back next year with a medical red shirt, he would, you know, technically be a freshman. Yeah. And that wouldn't be bad for him and for us as well.
And then he gets an actual 2 straight years instead of just a half of a season and a year.
That's correct, yeah.
So that would be nice for him. So hopefully he gets healed up real fast, ready to go, and then maybe he takes some time, does some training with you guys, and just kind of keeps pushing that way. So I always keep thinking about him, making sure that he's okay. So we don't like injuries.
No, injuries are tough, and you know it's. I was just talking to a couple of coaches this morning, you know, and it's amazing how one key injury can just devastate a team.
Mess up everything.
Yeah, and it's not like football where you have 11 guys out there. I mean, you only have 5 guys, and if you lose, that key piece, I mean, it can really be tough on a team. And so, fortunately, we're healthy today, and hopefully we carry this through the rest of the season.
Well, getting off some injury talk, let's jump into this game that you guys have upcoming tonight against Eastern Wyoming. I know we talked a little bit about it, but one of the big keys that you guys have been doing is in the last 3 games you averaged 97.3 points per game, which are big wins over Phoenix College, South Mountain Community College, and then obviously Western Nebraska Community College. What is the key to keep the success going and not allowing Eastern Wyoming to really kind of put up a fight tonight?
Yeah, and kind of like I said, I don't think we're where we need to be defensively,
right? And
I don't think we're where we need to be from a defensive rebounding perspective.
Okay.
I think there's improvement in those areas that we aren't there yet.
So what all do you think right now defensively? You talked about rebounding, but what's something that you guys can do to help fix that?
Yeah, I think defensively we got to do a better job on the backside. We got to do a better job on our help side rotations, especially against penetration.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's something we're continuing to try to work on, to improve on. A lot of teams run ball screens, so our ball screen defense needs to be really good. Tonight against Eastern, their 2 leading scorers are both 6'2" guards. The one shoots a lot, kind of a mid-range, mid-range finisher type guy, so we got to guard him. He's going to present a different game to us. And then the other guard they got, 22, he can shoot the 3, he can drive it. So, I mean, we just got to do a good job of making sure we make it tough on their top 2 scorers tonight. And we got to do that with good ball pressure, but also help. We've got to have help one pass away. We got to have help. We say, help in the smile. We got to get our defense rotating from the help side if we get beat on ball penetration. So, we're a long ways from being as good as we can be. So in terms of looking at it saying we're okay, nah, we're not. We got to get there.
You're like, we need a lot more. Need some work
for
to be
sure.
done. But
and I think that's the role of I I think that's your job as a head coach, is to
Yeah.
keep making your team better. And I don't, we don't know the record. We don't know our stats. We just know we got a game tonight, and we got to try to be the best we can be.
One of those things is, you bring up a good point, not knowing the record, stats things, but it's one of those things where I think about in broadcasting all the time. It's you never stop learning, and once you stop learning, then you're done. And it's just like basketball here. You're trying to always make sure, you might be good at some points. It's like, really good shooting percentage or things like that, but you want to keep getting that better. So I kind of feel like it's kind of like on the same dynamic.
I agree. I think when you feel like you know everything is when you actually know nothing. And so let's stay humble about it. Let's stay involved in the process, just this day-to-day process. And we talk about it a lot. We want to be playing our best basketball at the end, and we want to keep progressing to being the best team we can be.
Absolutely.
as we work through now with conference starting, as we work through conference.
17-1 is a great start, but you want to keep that thing and keep a momentum. And as I told with Coach Liz Lewis, it's the fact that it's an 0-0 start now. It's clean slate. So how do you get your guys maybe out of that mindset of saying, oh, hey, yeah, we're doing really good, we're only one loss on the season, but really focusing in and saying, hey, guys, actually, it's a whole different ballgame. We're restarting. Like, this is a restart, because conference play is really what matters to get you to that national tournament.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you would have came to practice yesterday, you would have saw that there's still a lot of coaching going on, still a lot of expectations. We still got to get better. And what I like about this group is that they're hungry. You know what I mean? They're not
set.
I don't feel like they are, and I feel like as a coach, your job is to keep them uncomfortable and to keep them growing. And you may have a good day, you may have a bad day, but you got to keep progressing, and that's where we're at. We've got to be a process-oriented team. We've got to just keep getting better every day, whether we have a good day or a bad day. Let's just keep getting better, and hopefully we're playing our best at the end.
Yeah, playing your best at the end. Talk about your process right now. But one thing is the bench players. We talked about, a little bit off air, saying there are 7 players that are really scoring in double digits and averaging double digits, which, we talked last week about how deep this roster is. I don't think people realized how deep the roster is.
Yeah, fortunately, we bring in Javon off the bench. We bring in Malik Moss, which is, he's just kind of a high-flying little guard.
Man, every time he goes to the rack, I'm just like, this is like, me and Thomas just like, someone's about to get dunked on.
Yeah, he's fearless right now.
Yeah.
I really like it, and I think he needs to play that way. He needs to play that attacking toughness mentality.
Right.
We're on him a little bit. I think he's fouling too much right now. He picks up some cheap fouls by just reaching instead of moving his body more and being a little more active with his hands, not reaching but getting deflections. But yeah, we bring in Malik off the bench. Now that Sayed is healthy, we're bringing him off the bench,
which is huge.
Which is a nice lift for us on the perimeter. And then Ollie Sacco, obviously Drew and Dane get a lot of notoriety, and they should. They're both, very good quality players. But Ali coming off the bench for us is like, it even as an 8th-9 guy, I mean, that kind of just it gives us some insurance.
Yeah.
It gives us some stability. So yeah, those 9 right now for sure are the guys who are playing the most. Ali, I give Ali a lot of credit. He's battled some injuries early on in his career, and he's back healthy, and he's competing. He plays hard in practice. He makes our guys better, and anytime that we can reward him with some more minutes and some more some more encouragement on the floor is great. He deserves it.
Yeah, he doesn't put up a lot of points, but he is there to get those rebounds, get those assists. He's at 42 rebounds coming off the bench, which I think is super impressive, especially when you're coming off the bench. I mean, being that guy, especially down in the paint, to give your team the next capable of trying to extend the lead or trying to get back into the game.
Yeah, and I've been doing this long enough to know that when your 8th, 9th guy are about team, you've got a good bench, and that's his attitude. He just wants to make the team better. He wants to try to put us in a position to win. He's not funky about numbers. every kid wants to play more. Every kid wants to start. Every kid wants to play 40 minutes. That's a given. But his attitude toward just coming in and contributing and making us better is huge. And
absolutely.
You know, we've been pretty fortunate to have him come off the bench for us and give us a good lift.
Well, since we're talking bench players, I'm going to kind of try to wrap this thing up, but who is the guy or person on the bench that has not stepped up yet, but you would like to see him step up today or step up coming up later in the year?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's, you know, we're getting to that point now with 18 games where your rotation is pretty solidified. There's not, you know what I mean? It's kind of, you know, you've kind of figured it out a little bit maybe. Yep. But, you know, guys like James and Vinny, you know, they're right on the cusp of breaking into that 8-9 man rotation, but you know, right now those guys are just a little bit, some guys ahead of them.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
It's just hard. But as long as we can keep Ali contributing, and now that Sayed's healthy again, and get him back in the rotation, Malik, if we can keep him out of foul trouble a little bit.
Yeah, that was a little bit of an issue for a couple of guys on Saturday. There was a lot of fouls.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of funny. You go to Arizona and play 3 games down there, and it's just a bloodbath. I mean, it is physical. They don't call a lot. Wow. And then you come to our region, and it's called a little differently. So the guys have to adjust. And I thought, like, the first half against Western Nebraska, you could tell we were kind of like, you know, we were a little rusty. We weren't quite clicking, and I think we were up 10 at half. And luckily Dane made that 3 at the buzzer. Western Nebraska went zone that last possession, and we moved the ball and got Dane a good look in the corner, and he hit that 3. But then the second half we came out and kind of got going a little bit. And I thought our depth and our just kind of wore them down a little bit, and got some transition baskets, and then it kind of got away. But yeah, I for us, just keep continuing to get better in every way possible that we can. But certainly we've got to get better defensively, and we've got to get better rebounding.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, what have we got going on for your game schedule coming up this week? I know you got Eastern Wyoming tonight. Who do you got coming up in the next few games?
Hosting LCCC on Saturday at 4. Really talented team. They've got a lot of guys. They're athletic. So we'll see. You know, we'll focus on Eastern today, and then we'll look at LCCC and get ready for them for Saturday.
Awesome. Well, Coach, good luck today, and good luck on Saturday as well, too.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Chase.
Awesome. Once again, thank you guys, Pronghorn Nation, for tuning in to our Coach's Corner here with Chase Horsley, alongside with our men's basketball coach, Coach Shawn Neary. We'll see you guys next time. Make sure, if you haven't been to a Pronghorn basketball game, you make it a priority because anyone in here in the fan atmosphere is just electric. You don't want to miss it, so come on out here. This is Coach's Corner. We'll see you guys next time.